My family is very superstitious. They were always very cautious and obedient to myths. Of course, being born into a family like that, I was too. We lived in an area where most people believed in stuff like that, so it was a mutual feeling. I lived with my older sister and my parents, and we were all a very close family. We would often talk to each other about everything, and tell each other stories and whatnot. Me and my sister were especially close. We shared a room, so we would secretly talk about our parents when they annoyed us, or our disagreements and frustrations. My parents weren't very strict, but they would tell us creepy stories and myths to discipline us. One of the myths they told us was about an old lady who loved eating children. They would call her the Nameless Watcher, as she loved watching children who disobey. Our parents warned us about her, saying that if we disobeyed their words, she would watch us in our sleep, and if we were naughty enough, she would sneak into our room at night and try to eat us, biting our arms and legs. They said we would wake up with bite marks all over our limbs, and once these bite marks started reaching our neck, she would give us one last visit before eating us whole. As a kid, that myth scared me the most. Of all the myths they told us, the myth of the Nameless Watcher was the most terrifying. Every time my parents scolded me, I would cry in fear, scared that the Nameless Watcher would find me and devour me. I even begged for forgiveness every night when I felt like I did something really wrong, all just so that the Nameless Watcher wouldn't eat me. But as I started entering my teen years, the myth sounded less believable, and it didn't scare me much. One day, I got invited to a party. It was the first time I got invited to one, so I eagerly accepted. I asked my parents for permission as soon as I got home, but they refused, telling me it wasn't a great idea. A party? You're 16, Andrea. Maybe if you had better grades, I'd let you go. But you don't. Are you not going to study? Are you not worried about your future? Choosing a party over your future. My mom yelled at me. I tried to argue with her back, but she quickly interrupted me. You listen to me. I'm your mother. I said no, and you're going to obey that. She paused for a moment. Or you can choose to disobey me. That's your choice. But you're old enough to know the consequences, right? I've already told you about the Nameless Watcher, haven't I? She gave me an arrogant smile and left the room, not letting me speak. I felt a wave of disappointment rush through me as I remembered those words. Why didn't she just let me go to one party? As usual, I ranted about it to my sister, who was willing to lend me an ear. She suggested I go out anyways, since I've never been to a party before. She encouraged me to sneak out and have fun, so I agreed. It was 11 p.m., and most of my family was asleep. I knew my sister slept a bit later, so I texted her, hoping she'd make sure I wouldn't get caught. She didn't reply or read the text. My friends told me they'd pick me up a few houses away from mine, so I wouldn't get caught. I left through one of the windows of my room, but as I was walking, I felt this sense of guilt washing over me. I knew it wasn't great that I was disobeying my parents, but I still did it anyways. I calmed myself down, reassuring myself that it was fine, and that one party wouldn't do any damage. Then, I remembered the Nameless Watcher. I felt a bit uneasy, but laughed. Why was I thinking of a children's myth? It was ridiculous anyways, not real. I walked around my neighborhood. Confused, I tried to find my friend's car, but it was harder than I thought. And after a while of searching, I finally found a car that resembled my friend's. It had the same license plate and the same number too. Matter of fact, it was the same model car. The exact same car. I sighed with relief and approached. But as I got closer, I saw the passenger's window were empty. My other friends were supposed to ride in the same car, so I was starting to doubt myself, my eyes shifting to the driver's window, and I saw someone sitting in the seat. It wasn't my friend, I was sure. It was a figure with frizzy hair and long hands. I couldn't see its face because it was too dark, but I knew for a fact that whoever or whatever it was It wasn't my friend. I froze for a moment, trying to think of a logical explanation for this. Just then, a figure turned his head in my direction, and everything went black. I opened my eyes, and it seemed to be morning already. I was laying in bed with my pajamas. I couldn't remember anything that happened before, aside from the figure and the party invitation. I opened my room door, but my family, even my sister, was absent. There was a note by the dinner table. "We're out shopping. You wouldn't wake up, so we just left you. We'll be back in a bit." I took a deep breath, trying to recall the events that happened last night. Then I remembered the car. I instantly grabbed my phone and called my friend who was supposed to be picking me up. I told them everything, and they laughed at me, thinking I was joking. "What do you mean? We waited for you. We waited until 11:30, but you didn't come. We checked everywhere. In the end, you weren't coming, so we left," my friend argued. My heart skipped a beat. "But I saw your car. It was your car, I know it. But it wasn't you in the driver's seat. I swear I did." My breath got heavier. "But maybe you were dreaming or something. I have to go, just text me." My friend hung up, and the silence grew louder. I checked my text messages and saw my sister had finally replied to my text. "Why'd you text me this at 3 a.m.? I thought the party was at 11. The text read. I stared at it for a while, confused. I could have sworn I texted her at 11, but it said I texted her at 3. I remembered the clock showing 11 p.m. and the text sending at 11. So why did it say it sent at 3? My breaths became shorter as I realized I went at 3 and not 11 like I thought I did. So then, why was my friend's car there? Then, out of the blue, I felt a sharp pain in my thigh. I quickly rolled up my pants, only to see my legs full of bite marks. Then another feeling of pain in my arms. I immediately rolled up my sleeves and saw both my arms covered in bite marks. I panicked and called my parents and my sister, but they didn't pick up.